Hey guys, it's Crossroads here with big news for SoFi. The OCC released a statement which looks like that it will pave the way in the future for SoFi to be able to reissue crypto on their Invest platform. Of course, previously under the prior administration, SoFi was, as a concession for their banking license, forced to divest that platform and depreciate it entirely. Question is when. Now, I'll save you some time. I still don't expect this to happen immediately. It may take another couple of quarters, but mid year may be the right time. We'll have to see how the OCC continues to move through this and the other agencies that are over banks in the United States. So, first, there's a couple of hurdles. They're not going to be able to reissue this right away. It looks like maybe that they can hold and host stablecoin and crypto assets, but buying and selling doesn't appear like that they can do that quite yet. So the OCC is one of three major governing bodies that help govern the United States banks. There's other organizations involved as well. That's the way that the US government works. But the OCC is involved, FDIC, especially in the insurance backend and risks, is involved, and of course the Federal Reserve as well. The OCC, their statement is actually really bullish for SoFi and other banks that are looking to get into this. Let's take a look. Here is this memo, this news release that came out today, and they had said that they were reaffirming, took action to reaffirm the range of crypto activities permissible in the federal banking system. In essence, they published 1183 interpretive letter, which ended up negating and rescinding an earlier letter. This allows them, and here's the quote that I think is really interesting. The OCC expects banks to have the same strong risk management controls in place to support novel bank activities as they do for traditional ones. Today's action will reduce the burden on banks to engage in crypto-related activities and to ensure these bank activities are treated consistently by the OCC, regardless of the underlying technology. So interpretive letter 1179 is effectively what was torn up. Now, in this letter, and you can see this is beautiful on every single page, rescinded. They ended up previously saying if you were a bank, you wanted to be involved in crypto, it's impossible. Essentially, that the risks were too great. They're going to put so much of a burden on banks that banks would lose money by allowing users to even hold or host crypto in their ecosystem. And so as a result, banks never even touched it. Banks like SoFi that were involved divested completely. And now this is beautiful. It's rescinded. But there's a lot more going on here and many other hurdles that still need to be finalized for banks to be able to do what they would like to do with crypto, especially for something like SoFi's Invest platform, where users can use that to buy and sell crypto, not just hold it. And so one of these, this is the letter that actually came out today that really went into details on this from the OCC, Interpretive Letter 1183. It goes through and it says, hey, no longer do banks have to ask permission that they can actually hold and host crypto, but so they tore up that interpretive letter that we looked at, the 1179, but they said that they are still taking a look at these three: interpretive letter 1170, 1172, and 1174. This one and all these address whether or not banks may provide crypto asset custody services. That's a big one. Until that is ruled on by the OCC, the SoFi cannot reissue their crypto platform like they would like to. 1172, that's also a big one, addressing whether banks may hold dollar deposits serving as reserves backing stablecoins in certain circumstances, but not as big for SoFi. It is a big deal, though, for those big banks that are looking to use stablecoin as much as possible. This is your stablecoin that absolutely will happen, but it'll take time. And 1174, addressing whether banks may act as nodes on an independent node verification network or distributed ledger to verify customer payments and engage in certain stablecoin activities to facilitate payment transaction on a distributed ledger. In plain English, the only thing that banks really can do is possibly, depending on two other government agencies, hold crypto for you in your wallet. That's it. You can send it and you can receive it, but you can't use it for transactions yet. You can't use a distributed ledger. In other words, no crypto wallet. They're built by banks. Can't build out stablecoin and use that for payments or payment settlement. And you also can't provide a platform for buying and selling crypto either. So it's very limited. Now, the great thing about this letter from the OCC is they basically said, hey, we're looking into this. We're going to do something about this. And it would be pretty surprising if we don't see that in the next few weeks, but it will take time. Now, they're not the only organization involved. As I mentioned, and as that statement mentioned, that they rescinded their part in a joint statement, actually two, regarding crypto. Now, let's take a quick look at those. So the first of these is a joint statement on liquidity risks to banking organizations resulting from crypto asset market vulnerabilities. And so this is a big one, especially as it relates to the FDIC and that insurance. And right at the very beginning, you can see FDIC is involved, OCC is involved, and also the Federal Reserve is involved as well. Those two other governing bodies have not withdrawn themselves from this statement. That's why you're not seeing a big rescinded letter here. Instead, the OCC says, hey, we're out of this one, guys. You're on your own. And so we need those to also provide regulatory clarification on whether or not that this is deprecated and it can be removed, or if it's still valid. There's confusion on that. And the last one of these is the joint statement on crypto asset risks to banking organizations. It's very similar. Some of this wording also ended up within the Basel III endgame addendum. I don't remember the name of that offhand, but there's a lot of wording that's from this document that's put into other documents, actually vice versa in some of those cases too. But basically, they are looking at a lot of the risks that banks open themselves up to. And again, just like it was for that other statement, the OCC withdrew their participation, but not yet the FDIC or the Federal Reserve. And so this is a case where it's incredibly bullish for SoFi because they'll at the very least be able to possibly, probably not just because FDIC insurance, but possibly open up their crypto platform again, and people can send from their wallet to SoFi if they want to, or the other way around. But you just can't do much with it yet. You can't buy or sell. You can't trade. You can't use it for real world currency. You can't even use stablecoin other than just having it on that platform. So it's incredibly limited, but this really does signify that there is a step in the right direction. Between this, the crypto summit that was earlier in this week, this has been one of the imperatives. It seems like it's been on Donald Trump's list. And honestly, the more technology is able to be moved on stablecoins and digital payment rails, if it's done so in a sound and safe way for consumers, and that's what regulators are trying to decide here, that's really bullish for us as users because things should get a lot cheaper to do on the back end. And usually, as that's the case, because there's a lot of competition in this, that will lead to better pricing and better margins for us as consumers. Also, things can get settled over the weekend. It can be settled instantly. It's programmable. Smart contracts can be on that as well. It's a very exciting time. Just don't get impatient with SoFi in this. If you are disappointed in 2 weeks because Tanner was wrong and they ended up not in the first quarter pushing out their crypto platform where you can buy and sell and trade crypto assets on SoFi, it's not SoFi's fault, guys. We can make fun of them with level one options if we want. That's fine. But I am sure that the moment that there is actual regulatory clarification that's done, not just by the OCC, but FDIC and also the Fed, and there's a few other bodies as well, it's complicated. At that point, I think SoFi is going to be ready to launch. So this is a rev your engines up, but this is not a green light yet. What do you think in the comments? Let me know. When do you think that this will actually happen as far as regulatory clarity? And how excited are you when, not if, SoFi relaunches their crypto invest platform? Thank you, as always, for watching, commenting, and subscribing. For now, happy investing.